안녕하세요.
Good.
My name is Toufi, and I've been coming to Korea for quite some time. So I do have a Korean name. It's kind of like my friends gave it to me. It's called Daejong, so you can call me Daejong. I'm kind of becoming Korean. So love your kimchi, love your food, love your people, and everything else. First, before I get started, thank you for having me here in Seoul. And I'm going to be talking about the necessity of decentralized governance in artificial intelligence. Before we get into that, I just want to say big thanks to folks like Julian, who truly put in a lot of effort in converting a lot of the old world into a new world in the blockchain. Despite the fact that I'm super open about what I feel about the actual technology itself, the Hyperledger, but I do give a lot of credit for what they're doing and a phenomenal bridge from the old world to the new world. My opinion is a little bit more based on the fact when you ask IBM database folks, could you have done that in 2008? And I can assure you nobody from IBM, nobody from Microsoft, nobody from Google have heard of Bitcoin or blockchain back in 2008. And the answer is yes, they could have done it. And therefore they're misleading a lot of the folks in what is truly revolutionary here. It's kind of like they're promising you World Wide Web on a fax machine network. But that does not change the fact that the effort that Julian is doing and his team is phenomenal and will bridge us. It's one of the best bridges I've ever seen in my life. It's called Hyperledger, so thank you for just being clear here. Now, why am I talking about the necessity of decentralized governance in artificial intelligence? For a long time I talked about cryptocurrency, I talked about blockchain. When I got to the point of certainty of knowing that by 2030 everything in the world will be cryptified whether you like it or not. Whether your banker tells you, oh yeah, this is just like a bubble, will come and go. The way I feel about it, the way I see it, with the same confidence that you have that the sun will rise tomorrow. That moment is coming. Why do I know it's coming? There are certain necessities that we call them the sexy. Those necessities, when I was able to see that they are there and they're being, it's a matter of implementation. What I do know today, by 2025, each and every one of you know. You will know that everything will be cryptified. So therefore, it is no longer a concern of mine whether cryptocurrency will become the main thing. I know it is happening. The next thing that we need to worry about is artificial intelligence. Do you want to live in a world where you cannot control yourself? This is what I'm going to explain today. It might sound like a little bit scary. It's actually a lot more scary than it seems. But we can do something about it today. So, is it going to be Star Wars or crypto AI wars in the future? You've all heard of Star Wars. It's not going to happen. Our biological being cannot ever live that life. But it's likely to be crypto vs AI wars. And what do I mean by that? If you get to the point where you live in a world where you cannot prove yourself to your mom that this is you and someone else can fake you, you're going to come running to crypto. And by crypto we mean cryptography. Cryptography to the rescue, artificial intelligence to the attack. Each and every one of you can be fake today, but you don't know it. In 2025, you will know it. You will know that by 2025, there's certain programs that they can imitate you better than what you can prove yourself. Forget about KYC, that's BS. They will be able to do better KYC than you can do yourself. Using artificial intelligence. cryptography will rescue. So, smartphones today, why is that such a big issue? We all know how smartphones look today now. Let's imagine this smartphone at some point is going to have 8 billion times more intelligence than you. You might refute that fact. You might think it's not going to happen. The same way birds refute the fact that the airplane flies faster than them. But that moment is coming, whether it's going to be in 10 years or 20 years. When that moment comes, the current technology as it's being built, that device can be centrally controlled by a single entity here on this planet. And there are many of those entities. So if you are the leader of your own company building that AI, thinking that you will be in control of it, you are unlikely to be in control as much as you think. It's likely more like your administrator, but there are 500 other companies doing the exact same thing. In fact, there are 5,000 of them. So why is that such a big issue? I mean, if you don't like that smartphone, you can put it aside. If you do put it aside, can you function in this world today? Can you be competitive? Can you have a job? The answer is no, you will not be able to. Today, now imagine in 10 years how that smartphone is going to look like. It's likely to be a pill you swallow every Friday. And if it's not going to be a pill, it's going to be injected in you somehow. And if you refuse to take that, you are not going to be competitive. That's what's being built in the world today. This is not science fiction, this is being built as we speak. For those that are skeptical, please add me on LinkedIn, and there's an article that I wrote. Which pill would Mark Zuckerberg give his daughters? Will it be the Facebook pill? Or what I'm going to talk about here, the decentralized pill? So now let's imagine that that pill can be controlled by a single entity. Which one of you would take that pill? Please raise your hand. Exactly. Well, that's what I get. 0%. Which one of you would give it to your daughter or to your son or to the next generation and you would take credit that, hey, we're doing something better than what our ancestors did for us? Please raise your hand. None of you. That's what's being built today. There's not a single company who is not building that. If you're breathing today, you're contributing to that creation of that centralized pill. Yet it does not have the security by design. The movement that has started with ACM is the Association for Computing Machinery, which is the #1 computer science in the world, 100,000 members. When they elected me global chair for their practitioners board conference committee, I started something called AI Decentralized. With that movement, we have over 300 companies that they're marching in that. I recently took on the president of the DAIA, the Decentralized AI Alliance, over 63 companies, and it's growing. That movement makes me feel a lot better about what could be coming in the future. Imagine that bill, nobody can control it, nobody can repurpose it but the host, yourself. At that point, if you have the choice, which bill will you then take? You are likely to choose the latter. The one that you can control and no one else, the one that cannot be repurposed, cannot be hacked and attacked by a single entity. Even if you are that single entity, please read that article and you'll make that same conclusion that even Mark Zuckerberg himself, building that centralized bill, will not give that bill to his own daughters. So, why not trust centralized AI? I mean, they promised not to fail you. We saw what happened with Facebook. This $5 billion fine is tiny to what Facebook can afford. But that is your price. That's just for privacy. When privacy is a big issue, it will become the least of your concerns when somebody can take control over you. If you are the administrator in Verizon or whatever certain company that's centralized and having control over that bill, and the president of the country will give you a call, or the mayor, and would say, the suicide rate has gone up, do something about it. You ask the researchers and they say, oh, well, with this bill we can stop suicide altogether. What will you do? You look like a hero that you stopped suicide, reduce deaths. That's something that centralized bill can enable. Yay! How about we promise a future to next generations that they cannot kill themselves whatsoever? That's actually the liberty aspect of each and every one of you. But when we turn people into products, like Facebook started with the invasion of privacy, turning people into products, you will turn next generations into products the same way we turn cows into products. You don't want your cow to die too early or to kill itself, would you? That's the future we're building to the next generation if we don't do something about it right now. This isn't something, oh well, it is too far away. We don't have to worry about it. The artificial intelligence that is being built today, it is not something that is far away. If we don't build it by design, it is too late when it's done. It cannot be reversed. And not only Facebook invading privacy and security, every single agency out there in the world, whether it is your own government or not, they can invade your privacy because it does not have that security by design. So, if you do get that decentralized bill, I'm pretty sure you have the option to get it one day. I'm extremely optimistic. I talk about it with a lot of pessimism. I did the same over 10 years ago or whatnot, and we are in a much better place today. We all do. This is what we're here for. This is what you all here for, to make this world a better place. And even folks like Iggy Azalea would want to take the bill. Who knows Iggy? Raise your hand, my friend Iggy. Iggy Azalea is a rapper from Australia. She's in the United States now. So, often folks, they kind of, introduce themselves at the beginning, whatnot. I kind of leave it to the end or in the middle. This stands in the middle. I'm involved with all of those organizations and I'm open about it. I was not open about these things a while back, but I'm becoming more and more open about it as the world becomes a better place and safer and so on and so forth. I'm heavily involved with Bitcoin all the way to BPI. BPI is the Banking Policy Institute in the United States, which represents an audience like yourself that I do advisory for, but they manage over $100 trillion. To put things in perspective, that's twice the GDP of the United States and China combined in one room, CEOs. When folks in the crypto space would be like, whoa, isn't that going to proceed as a trader? It is not a trader, it's being inclusive. If we want to be inclusive, we need to talk to everybody, whether you're a banker, you're a regulator, you're a government official, you're a cryptomaniac, you're an underground cypherpunk, whatever it is, I am inclusive, and that's my full disclosure here. I don't exclude anybody. Oh, and by the way, Green Banking Institute is there. Invited me a few times to talk to their events. Many of you would know KIF as well, Green Institute of Finance, those are fabulous organizations that you guys have. The one thing that I care for the most is getting that truth to everybody with the least amount of actions, with the least amount of friction. And I think we're here when it comes to crypto, and I'm hoping we'll be here when it comes to AI. Some of the projects that excites me here that the United Nations they were working on, they talked about yesterday. Some that is in the Bitcoin place that's called BAP, which is still a secret, but it's a short here, but when you'll hear about it. In any case, enough of me, let's talk about some cool stuff. Do you know what I'm talking about, deepfake? How many of you have heard of deepfake? Raise your hand. Cool, all right, so I'm getting about that 47.6233% of the audience. I did not count that, that was a joke. So, deepfake is the ability to use artificial intelligence on the video that it's taking you, and the output would look like Donald Trump saying, hey, we're launching a nuclear weapon on North Korea. And you would see actually Donald Trump saying, in his own accent, saying that. That technology is available today. It's actually really, really good. The attack on this technology, the good ones, is happening one by one, but it's there. That technology can fake you as well if you were to be talking to your mom via video chat. It's not that good to fake you yet, all the way, but it will be. So, combating deepfake, AI against AI is not something that, it's one of those things where by design, the constructor actually putting the researchers in a place where they cannot step out of it. We tell them, show me an AI who's going to combat AI. That's called constrained researchers, and it will not work. It won't, it's just by design. It's a logical thing that it won't work. You're just setting them for failure. The same way a lot of folks are saying, oh, we're going to scale the blockchain just by doing the ledger thing. No, that's a constrained research. It's like you tell folks, let's fly the boat the same way the airplane flies. Those are constrained research. They will not work. They did not work. Over $500 million were spent by the Department of Defense across the world. That's not only in the United States. Failure. Two gentlemen came to a hackathon. I go to a lot of hackathons. We contribute a lot of hackathons. I'm a techie. I'm dressed in a suit, but I'm as techie as you can get. Hackathons are those things, it's like the marathon, but folks, they sit on their computer for about like 48 hours, okay? You put them on a Friday, 6 p.m., they finish on Sunday, they show the work that they've done. They came to me and told me about that dilemma. They've built in 48 hours a solution combating deepfake with 100% certainty, deterministically. And when we say 100% here, we're talking about practical 100%. Theoretically, in the world, there's nothing that is 100%, so just to be clear. So, cryptography combating AI. In my talk, there's still 7 minutes and 44 seconds. I'm going to spend the next 2 minutes talking about this, and it's extremely, extremely important, whether you are technical or not. Please bear with me and understand the following. If you will understand the following, your life will be a lot easier in the future. This is more like somebody in 1992 trying to tell you, please understand website. And you're like, I don't want to understand website, it's too technical. No. You need to understand it, even if you're a flower shop, okay? So, in this example here, there's something that is called hash. The cryptographic hash function is the ability to take any set of data. So remember, when you take a picture with your phone, or a video, or a conversation, or a transaction, to the device itself, it's a bunch of zeros and ones. You've heard of that. Millions, billions of them. The cryptographic hash function, it's capable of taking any set of data and it gives the output, so let's say of 64 characters or 32 characters. In those 32 characters, they actually represent about 256 of those zeros and ones. You might think that, well, because there are millions and billions of those zeros and ones, if you were to hash it to produce one next to the other, they're likely to be the same at some point. It's actually unlikely. It is possible. Theoretically it's possible. Practically it is not. Why do I say that? In 256 zeros and ones, it's basically 2 to the power 256. If you were to look at the number 2 to the power 160, that represents the estimated atoms in the universe. So 2 to the power 256 is 1 trillion universe representations. You are not going to get into collusion, so don't worry about that. And even if you do get into collusion, the one thing that this hash function does extremely well, and again, this is a logical thing, it cannot be reversed. So if you were to give those 256 characters or 32 characters anywhere in the world, you show it to anybody, they cannot produce the picture or the video that you've had before. No matter what computer they use, even if it is quantum computing, it is an impossibility. This is impossible, logically impossible. So, with this, imagine now Donald Trump has got the ability to hash his videos, every minute of his videos. Now when that hash function happens, someone else could be doing a video, could be porn, someone else could be doing transaction, someone else could be doing whatever it is. They all can get hashed. And there's something called temporal coupling. It's when you bring two hashes next to each other, what do you get? 256 characters next to 256, you get 512. How about you hash them again? They're also going to give you almost a unique number. That process is called, if you do it many times, it's called the Merkle tree. You get to the top of it, it's called Merkle roots. Imagine that Merkle root exists on every single device. That's the only truth that exists, but that truth can verify trillions or quadrillions of events that they happen every minute, anywhere in the world. And that is a blockchain that has no ledger, for example. So, this was a result of this. Those are my 2 minutes spending on this. If anybody wants to get in deep into the code, can show you that. That's a project that actually happened. The Interpol invited me to speak at their event, and there's over 50 police agencies that are trying to deploy it. So, before I conclude my talk, I'm going to state certain facts. Current blockchain global penetration is less than 0.2%. So anything that is in the current blockchain, if it is truly revolutionary and it says less than 0.2%, let's change the definition of revolutionary, because it is not. So any current scientist in the blockchain who claims that this is revolutionary, let's make sure that they answer that statement here. However, let's be optimistic. Will we get to the remaining 99.8%? And the answer is yes. The next speaker here is going to talk about some of his scientists. I know some of his scientists in his company. I know a lot of scientists in even Hyperledger, fabulous set of folks. We are getting there, guys. It is going to get to the remaining 99.8%. But the current one that is ledger dependent or whatnot, it is not. So we're stating facts. And we're hopeful for the future that we will go through them. Q-Day global penetration over 90%, and here's something funny that I put. Current cryptography global penetration is 99.99999%. In every single device, you've got that. So, one of the things that you will see happening over the next while, this is considered as more like a secret that I'm sharing with you, but it is happening. The dependency layer versus the service layer in current blockchain, they're being split up. And what that is going to enable tremendous amount of scalability for the lowest amount of the true cost, no extraction of wealth, or the least extraction of wealth, and we'll get to the remaining 99%. There's something in nature which I reference in almost every talk. I talk over 100 events per year, only 20 of them there are crypto for cryptography, you know. And it's called the alveolus capillary protocol. As you hear those words that I'm saying, there are trillions of those exchanges happening in your lungs in a fully autonomous, decentralized setting. The oxygen with the carbon dioxide, it never makes a mistake. Now imagine that is a government who wants to be super duper powerful. By realizing the power of decentralization, will not put KYC for every single atom of oxygen entering your system. Will have autonomous, decentralized governance to ensure things are happening, the exchanges are happening between people in a way that can protect their people, and that's how they can be extremely powerful. So we are getting to the maximum security that moment is coming, no servers, no cloud, no database, no miners, no machine same class. That's a dependency layer, of course. I'm not going to geek it out right now. But before I finish my talk, what's the most efficient and successful way of killing cancer? We kill the host. I'm hoping we don't kill the host. And that's the approach that many of the gentlemen here earlier, Michael, is struggling with a lot of the folks, that they're regulators, they're supposed to protect the people. He's there to protect the people too. He's trying to put technology to protect the people by design. But I'm just going to say a big thank you. Please reach out, let's stay in touch, let's make this world a better place for next generations. We can. Thank you very much. 감사합니다.